Training camp has arrived, ladies and gentlemen, today. It's officially here. We are starting anew. All right. All the talk, all the speculation, all the trials, all the tribulation. I mean, I should have been a poet. I mean, really. All that is behind us. Now, pads are on. Hitting begins, right? Sweat, blood, tears, whole thing. I honestly can't believe it's actually here. It seemed like it would never get here, and now it's here. But think about this. How exciting is it to be a New Orleans Saints fan when you're this excited about training camp? Training camp. People skip this part in Madden, right? Your Madden franchise. Yeah, just skip the training camp part. Skip preseason. Give me the regular season. Think about how exciting of a time it is. Last year, training camp, whatever. Year before, whatever. Year before, whatever. Now, people are acting like training camp is a Super Bowl. I can't even imagine once week 1 gets here. Okay, so this is truly the beginning of something. This is truly page 1 of chapter 1 of a brand spanking new book. All right, nothing's left over. There's no Dennis Allen. There's no Pete Carmichael. There's no Derek Carr. None of that. Fresh faces, fresh voices, young players everywhere, giant draft class.
Yes, training camp is here. Man, it's like a whole new beginning for like the first time in 15, 20,
or longer, 20 years. This is 2005.
It feels like in forever.
Yeah, look,
20 years almost.
It's the closest comp is the 2006 season when Sean Payton and Drew Brees were new and Reggie Bush was new. And guys,
I will say though, caveat, like when you throw in the Hurricane Katrina stuff like that, it's impossible to compare those situations. This is solely football. This is strictly football. This is fresh start from the football side of things.
I didn't even know that we're going to be stars yet, like Marcus Colston and Jari Evans were new, but obviously we're not expecting them to go to the NFC Championship game this year, but that's the point. We weren't then either. They were coming off a 3-win season. We didn't know anything about any of these guys. Now, the difference is Drew Brees.
Now, hold up. Now, notice that part. They were coming off a 3-win season. We didn't know anything about these guys. Think about the narrative that's been pushed for the last 3 months. Saints are coming off a 5-win season, and we don't know anything about these guys. We don't know anything, really, about Spencer Rattler. We don't really know anything about Tyler Shough. We don't know anything about Devin Neal, Danny Stutzman, Quincy Riley. We don't know anything about these guys. We don't know anything about Kellen Moore. We don't know anything about Brandon Staley as a DC again. We just have no clue. You know, even the guys we do know stuff about. We don't know what Chris Olave is going to do this season. We don't know if he's going to be healthy or how it's going to look. Same with Rashid Shaheed. So that part is incredibly similar. And that has been the big knock on this team the entire offseason is that, well, we don't really know. There's a lot of question marks. They won 5 games last year. You know, Keck W, Pepe Cry.
Brees was established. He had the shoulder injury. He was a complete unknown in that regard. And now they have the quarterback position that's being ranked 32nd in the league by every single person who ranks the quarterback position. But that's going to be fascinating in and of itself. Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler. Who wins the job? Do either of them look like they could be a long-term answer? And then Kellen Moore himself and his staff, and Brandon Staley, a defensive coordinator, and Doug Peterson Doug Nussmeier at offense.
Dougie Peterson, shout out Doug. Where the hell is he at nowadays?
Defensive coordinator and everyone else they brought here. I mean, it's going to be different. It's going to be watching everything like you're seeing it for the first time, and that has been 20 years for sure. Even though. You and Brandon did that great thing last year where you followed Clint Kubiak and his staff around and charted everything they did as an offensive coordinator. I mean, we've never had this much new all at once.
Yeah, all at once. I mean,
honestly, like, this sounds crazy. The only way you can get this much new is if you have an expansion team. Like, that sounds nuts, but really think about it. Think about how much is different with this team. even the players who we are banking on, even the players who it's like, okay, we know about them. It's like Talise Fuaga. He's a second-year player. You know, like, you can look around. Like, Trevor Penning. Yeah, Trevor Penning's been around, but he's playing a new position. No clue. The only way is if it was an expansion team. That's the only way it could be more new. Speaking of new, ladies and gentlemen, get you a new mug. Look at that damn thing. Look at that mug. Huh? I mean, that's high quality. Mugs have shipped out. All the merch is shipped out. So perfect time for you to get your order in. If you get your order in, it'll be there quick because we are now super efficient with our infrastructure of our warehouse. The mugs, I'll tell you this right now, they very well packed. All right, everyone that's got one, that's what they tell me. Bubble wrap, the box, just unbelievable. Now my warehouse manager, aka me, taking a lot of precautions to make sure these things arrive intact. So get you a mug before the season starts. Imagine walking into your damn office, going to the break room, filling this sucker up. Everyone knows you know ball at that point.
Completely. You're taking out the whole DNA of the previous regime, and you're bringing in a whole new setup. It's everything is completely different. And
yes,
man, it's different from 20 years ago too, because people know what you know. They've ate a good meal now. Like, they know what it tastes like. They know how that steak's supposed to be cooked, and it's different now. It's not just like hope.
That is a good point, because 20 years ago, yeah, I mean, you're just hoping for, like, honestly, 20 years ago, when it comes to being a Saints fan or watching the Saints, you're just hoping for a good time. Like, you're just hoping to have fun, see your friends, enjoy yourself, whatever. Now, there is that yearning of, hey, let's get back. Let's get back to 11, 12, 13 wins. Let's get back to being one of the most exciting teams in the NFL. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to, dome field advantage and whatever. Right? Let's get back to being a really relevant power in the National Football League like we were for 20 years, or the better part of 15 years, with Sean Payton and Drew Brees, where every year in and year out, you're going to get a high-powered offense. You're going to get somewhere between 10 to 13 wins. I mean, even the years we didn't, like, even the year the Rams beat us in the NFC Championship game, we were probably the best Saints team of all time. Number 1 ranked offense, number 2 ranked defense, or whatever it was, 1 seed in the NFC. The team was nuts. Hosting the NFC title game. Let's get back to that. And this is the first step to that. Even if it doesn't happen immediately, because we have stripped away all of the previous, there's only one way to go, and it's forward. We can't look backwards anymore. That's why I keep telling people, quit talking about the next Jimmy Graham, the next Marcus Colston, the next Taysom Hill, the next whatever. Like, you got to move. We got to move forward. We got to leave all that stuff in the past.
For the best. No, this is great. And the world's changed too. Like, we're all logged onto a cauldron of hate every day. Like, just read it all day long. Like, we're consumed. Like, we're trained to be angry every day now.
Those are the good old days. There was no. I mean, we were at Millsaps, which stunk, but not checking Twitter at the end of the day, which was great.
Yeah, and yeah. I mean, it's interesting too. Like, it's just like all of a sudden, like, summer got hot the last couple of days. Like, you go outside now and you're in the oven, so we're gonna be out in the oven.
I was just at Bromart today. I had to go up on Severn up in Metairie. I was walking across the parking lot. I almost just laid down and died. I almost just said, you know what? I'm just gonna lay down and die right here in the parking lot. It's that hot
out there. I'm excited though, man. Like, because it is just different, and it does feel refreshing in a sense though too, because, like, while there are expectations and everything, this almost feels like I don't know, it's just a fresh start with maybe a little less weight on it. I think the weight comes
definitely
time,
less weight. Yeah, definitely less weight.
It's different. You're kind of waiting to see I think the real expectations will probably be defined somewhere down the road, though, after that disappointment sets in of like, well, maybe this isn't going to work out in the best case scenario. Maybe there isn't a storybook, but then trying to see what that looks like and, where the growth has to come from, where it's not going to meet it, how everything has to be reset. I think the expectations get formed in a little bit of time, but like right now, it's just go out, try to see some good things, try to get some proof positive on a couple of the lingering questions, see enough to be able to lie to yourself that it's going to be okay. And then, by November, I think we're sitting here being like, all right, like, what is the actual autopsy? What organs got to come out? Which ones are working? And where do you go from there?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the beginning, it is a feeling out process of like, okay, what is even happening? Like we have no idea, right? So on my college football 26 dynasty, which I'm sure you're all watching over on my gaming channel, the first couple of games, like you're just trying to figure out what players can do what. You can't even factor in like, oh, are we good or are we bad? It's just, what does this quarterback do well? What does this running back do well? What does the backup running back do well? What can my offensive line do? How many points am I going to give up? Like all that has to happen just to form a base of like, okay, I see now what I have. Now what do I need? And then you can kind of, like I've seen some people say like, we'll know in the San Francisco game. No, we will not. We won't know much about really the infrastructure and the foundation of this team for quite a while, because you're going to have to see, you got to get skewed data is the worst data. And if you're rushing to judge, a player after 1 or 2 games, especially players this young, especially with a brand new system, all that stuff, it's going to take a while to figure out what this team has and what we need to do better, or what spots are good or whatever. So it's going to be a journey, and that is exciting.
The thing about that is even that's not a doomsday scenario. Like if they're 0-6, it doesn't make everyone more upset. It makes everyone more like, all right, good. It's a real rebuild. Like if they're 4-2,
no, I don't know about that.
People will be excited. Hey, better than expected. If they're 2-4, it'll be like, that's all right. Maybe we'll get a top 5 pick. I mean,
if we're 4-2 and people are like, hey, better than expected, you better wake up. If we're 4-2, people better be wearing, jerseys to work. Like if we're 4-2, I mean, I'm camping out in Champion Square. You gotta be, 4-2. You'd be doing cartwheels down Canal Street.
There's not anything that'll completely that should completely turn anyone off, because I think everyone's ready for a 2 or 3 year plan, and anything else would be a bonus.
Yeah, and it's just like, I think it's going to make college football more fun this year too. Like I can't wait for the August 31st game, the LSU Clemson game. I feel like there's a 90% chance that somebody on the field in that game is the Saints draft pick. It's either going to be, if the quarterback works, it's probably going to be Parker or Woods, the Clemson D lineman. If the quarterback doesn't work, it's probably going to be Klubnik or Nussmeier. Like you're just kind of looking at it that way. Or the Clemson wide receiver is
yeah, what's his name? Antonio Williams. Man, I hope that's right. I'm just pulling that. I've just started a lot of my research. I've started a lot of the research that we do, behind the scenes here, which is just me ingesting so much content. I just started the college football side of things, so I hope it's Antonio Williams. I may be combining players, but hopefully I'm right.
Possibly a target of the team too. So I don't know. Everything just kind of feels. It just feels lighter. It feels like refreshed. It feels new. It feels like the flowers blooming in summer, man. And like the last couple of years, it felt like stuff was just kind of wilting away, and you're just trying to figure out how to water it enough to keep it alive, and it was just dying the whole time. This is fresh. It's starting over.
There's one thing that has to work though, and that's this year's draft class and recent draft classes. Like
recent draft classes, whatever. They didn't draft the recent draft classes, but unless you're talking about Tulise Fuaga, but he's all right. He's already kind of worked. This draft class, absolutely. Like these 9 players, you have to have a relatively high level of impact or whatever from a big percentage. All 9's not going to work, but you got to have a big percentage of them be impact players. We know that. That's how you get younger. That's how you get cheaper. So, and it also gives you a proof of concept that this front office / staff understand what works. And they understand how to identify players, not only for the NFL, but for their own scheme. So, yeah, I agree with that for sure. I think the offensive line has to work because you've invested so much in the offensive line and it seems to be a strength. It needs to be a strength, right? I think those are probably the 2 things. And then, of course, Kellen Moore and his staff have to work. We can't have a Nathaniel Hackett, Urban Meyer situation. But as long as those things are good, the rest, we can kind of wait and see.
Everything else, it's like, hey, even if these quarterbacks don't work out, it's sort of like,
whatever.
That was a 50-50 shot at best. Even if the coach doesn't work out, then you just go and hire the next Vrabel next time when you're ready to compete.
Yeah, I don't know about that part.
They can't keep missing on draft classes. The rookies have to look good, and the recent first round picks like Fuaga, Kool-Aid McKinstry have to hit, or else then you really feel directionless. So young players do have to look.
I couldn't agree more too, because you don't get Vrabel if the quarterback doesn't hit.
Yeah.
If you,
that whole like you do not want to keep rolling in and out coaches. You don't want to do that. So it's just bad for the infrastructure of the team. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Kellen Moore is our Mike Vrabel. Like that is what's happened. You had the Gerard Mayo thing, which was a complete failure. They go get Mike Vrabel. I understand Vrabel has coached before. He's been a head coach before. He's been successful before. I love Vrabel. We have plenty of videos on this channel where I was saying we needed to get Vrabel for the Saints. Kellen Moore is the guy. Kellen Moore is not Gerard Mayo. Kellen Moore he was hired to be the next 2-decade coach for the New Orleans Saints. I know it's weird because it's coaches, and it's not a draft pick, and you never see their contracts, but the investment in Kellen Moore and the investment in his philosophy and his vision and all that stuff is just as big, if not bigger, than the investment in the offensive line or the investment in the quarterbacks or the investment in whatever draft pick. Kellen Moore has to hit. His vision, that has to work. He has to prove, and the only way we're going to know is if he can prove he can coach. If he can prove he can, analyze the game as it's happening, and he can adjust and his play calling, and he can handle the timeouts and handle the challenges. And trust me, there is no one that's going to be able to tell you quicker than me if that's going to work. I've showed a million times on this channel. We called out Nathaniel Hackett and Mike McCarthy and Antonio Pierce within about 72 hours of them failing at their previous jobs, saying, go ahead and fire these guys. They can't do it. They can't coach. Urban Meyer, same thing. He can't do it. He can't coach. Get rid of him. All right. So we've called it. We'll be watching. But I am way more on the side of we need Kellen to work.
You don't have the quarterback, you're not.
Or if you have the first pick and like you're hiring a guy with and this year, we have the Cam Smith pick coming up or something.
Fair.
Like
you
that.
can't get, if it's a big enough disaster, you can get the Vrabel. Look, Tennessee's kind of, I mean, as you say here and look at like Levis, he had the injury today. They just drafted the quarterback. Like there is the start over quick and all that stuff too if you have to at those positions. But yeah, the O-line has to hit. Like if we tear it out, it's the O-line. The O-linemen have to hit. Is it quarterback or coach next?
Coach.
I actually think corner, there's a conversation to be had about corner because of the investments they've made at that position, but
it's so easy to turn over cornerbacks. It's so easy to go find a serviceable cornerback. This ain't 2006.
Quarterback is a cheat code. There's only upside. Like I think we expect the quarterback to only be in place for 2 years is the base expectation. If Tyler Shough or Spencer Rattler is more than that, then it's a huge boon. So I mean, I guess quarterback is next, but the coach we definitely think is going to be here for at least 3 years.
I mean, like on the has to hit. If it doesn't, you're screwed in the rebuild.
Yeah.
I almost agree with you. I'm gonna answer for you. I'm gonna go corner here more than quarterback because if you need to draft the corners, I think it just makes it harder to just that's the piece you want to have in place, and you don't want to have.
We already bought that. Like we don't want to have to.
Yes, that's like you buy the car, like the tires on the car. Like no, the tires just need the work. Like I don't have money for this right now. Just bought the house. Don't need a new roof. Like if those work, but then if they don't, then all of a sudden you can't remodel everything else within it. So I go cornerback second. Just
what I would say is that, to use a metaphor off their metaphor, is that if you are redoing your house and you have a contractor and you have all the supplies, you would much rather a drill fail, or you'd much rather your hammer break, or you'd much rather something like that happens than the contractor says, hey man, bad news, I'm quitting. Because then you're like, okay, well now I have to completely reestablish the vision. I have to completely reestablish the identity. I have to get a new person in here who understands that, sees that, is ready to do what I want them to do, and can come in here and do it. It's much harder to find a new contractor than it is to go buy a new drill or to buy a new hammer. And as far as cornerbacks go, There are veteran cornerbacks all over the place, free agent cornerbacks all over the place. There's a draft class full of cornerbacks. There's not a draft class full of coaches. There's not a free agency full of good coaches. There's a free agency full of Ron Rivera and Mike McCarthy, but not good coaches. So you can find good, serviceable players at positions like cornerback, positions like, linebacker or safety or whatever. Quarterback, not so much, right? That's not the case. But I just think in today's day and age, it's way more important to have that coach locked in, that identity locked in, that philosophy locked in. Like, think about if Kellen Moore fails and all of a sudden you have to go hire Mike McCarthy or whatever. Just name a coach. That it's so different for the players. It's just a completely new voice. It's a completely new identity. It's a completely new culture. And they also all of a sudden start getting that kind of PTSD where it's like, damn, I just bought into Clint Kubiak. Now I just bought into Kellen Moore. Now I'm buying into the next offensive guy. It's like, man, how many times can you ask a player to buy into a new scheme, to buy into a new whatever? So I am all in on this idea that the coach is more important than a low impact position or a low impact value position like cornerback.
It's because the cost is high to get a good one, and you just don't want to spend the money.
I'll go QB third. I mean, because if these quarterbacks don't work out, and I'll probably go second with them, to be honest, but it's close. But if these quarterbacks don't work out, it does cost so much. Like, I mean, even if it is Klubnik or Sellers or Nussmeier, I mean, you're either using the first round pick or you're trading up, probably multiple first round picks, or whenever you get that quarterback, it's going to cost a ton. The only thing about Kellen Moore is, I think he's going to be here for at least 3 years.
I mean, another way to do it, and this is kind of cheating, but like, look across the league. Look at any team. Who would they rather replace? Their best cornerback or their head coach? I mean, look at the Broncos. Broncos just had the defensive player of the year at corner. Who do you think they would rather lose? Sean Payton or Patrick Surtain? I think they'd rather lose Surtain. I think they'd say, you know what, it is what it is, but finding the next Sean Payton or whatever, that's going to be very difficult. The Ravens. John, you can even go to a team that's not that successful, like the Chargers. You can go to any team. And I would assume almost all of the good teams would rather lose their best cornerback than their head coach.
So you want him to be good, but that is a way more replaceable job. I mean, you don't have to use a draft pick. You don't have to use cap space. And in theory, you can go out and get someone even better. Like, it's the easier position to replace, as important as it is.
But my list, I go O-line, coach, corner, QB, I think, in that order, because I'll explain why. Like, I don't expect anything from the quarterbacks. I think it's what you said, is it's all upside. And I think if that doesn't work, you're in great position to replace it next year. You're probably picking in the top 5.
Yeah.
If your quarterback situation's a disaster, you're in position to replace that. And I don't even view that as a bad scenario, honestly. That's almost a positive scenario.
Yeah, I think really it's just O-line, coach, and then everything else is kind of fluid. Like, everything else you're kind of okay if you have to pivot or have to add or whatever. But O-line and coach, you need to hit now.
You want it to go the other way. You want the Drake May thing where your team stinks, you feel good about the QB, and then you can go draft Woods or Parker. That's the best scenario, I think, out of all these. But if it doesn't play out like that, you can go get them. Like you said, I think the coach is here for 3 years. If it doesn't work, I think you're just tied into this for a while until it completely sinks, and you can't eject as quickly as quarterback or one of the other things. I got O-line at the top because there's just so much investment there, and something you've invested in has to work.
Yes.
And if that doesn't work, I think your coach is screwed. So that's at the top.
What I would say about the O-line is, to go back to the contractor thing. It's like, okay, we got to do the cabinets first, and then we can move on to this, then we can move on to this. And then you have the cabinets done, brand new cabinets. They're all done. Okay, cool. They're in place. If they collapse, it sets everything so far back, because it's like, damn, we just took all this time. We just put these cabinets in here. They're young. They're new. They're ready to roll. If we get this set, we can move on to the next part of the house. If it fails, then you got a real problem on your hands here. The offensive line, it's not so much like, oh, there's a lot invested into it. It's that they're young, right? So they're that double hitter where they need to be good because you have invested a lot in them, but also because if they are good, you set it and forget it. You know, like if Banks and Fuaga work, you got a second year and a rookie left tackle, right tackle on rookie contracts, good to go. All right, McCoy, we know what he's going to do. If Penning works a left guard, cool. You got a young left guard, good to go. We know what Ruiz can do. And then you can just forget about offensive line. You can just, all right, we're good there for a hot minute. All right, really until McCoy and Ruiz call it. If everything else is good, that's the next time you have to really act on that. So that's why I think the offensive line has to hit, because it's that double whammy.
And I just slot corner in there, but it's probably quarterback ahead of cornerback. I just slot corner in there because I just want one thing they've invested in, and it feels like significant resources, even though it's not like a first-round pick, but there's just so much there that it's like, just let this hit, because then that just makes everything else easier.
No question. And I'm aware that it's Cam Ward and not Cam Smith, but you know.
I wasn't going to say anything. I don't know if he's watching Astros games. Cam Smith, rookie for the Astros. Again, guys, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, we understand what people are talking about here. You hate to flub it like that, but you know, Cade Flubnik over here, but. You know what I mean?
Who somebody else? I did.
Oh, well, yeah, whatever.
Just acknowledging it for anyone who caught it when they were listening.
Going on to the next one, presented by Shough.
Okay, there you go. Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited. Are you excited? If you're excited, buy a mug. Huh? All right, ladies and gentlemen, see you in the next video.